So on this episode, we're pretty sure there's something bad wrong with the 6.0 in this GT0 here. So we are going to probably pull the front of this motor apart first and take the timing cover off just to make sure that we don't have a cam bolt or something that is fell out. And if that don't work out, we're probably gonna pull the intake and heads and look at the pistons. And if that don't work out, we're gonna pull the whole motor out of this thing. So we're gonna start taking this thing apart. We got the hood off of it, and now we're gonna start draining the radiator and stuff. We got the radiator and condenser out. You can see, back up for just a second. You can see where the lower tie bar is bent up, right there. So I want to push that down. We got the belt back off of it, radiator and condenser out and everything. So we're gonna take all the accessory drive off the front of this motor and see if we can find anything behind the timing cover. But that's what we got so far with it. The air conditioning didn't have any Freon in it, so that wasn't no big deal. We just had to drain the radiator. We got the alternator off there, and I attempted to pull that harmonic balancer off with my puller, and it didn't seem to work. So I'm gonna heat the center of the balancer up. Try not to heat the crank up, but just the balancer, and see if I can get that thing to come off, because I don't want to break it, something on that balancer, trying to pull it off there. That's what we're gonna do next. Yeah, it's popping off there now that we heated it up. Look down there, you'll see it coming out. Well, it's not moving no more.
Jinxed it?
Probably. Oh, I know what it is. The bolts stopped it. So we're pushing against that bolt now. So we got all the bolts out, even the bottom two. Got the harmonic balancer off. We're gonna take this last bolt out and see if there's any surprises. See why this motor's making all this noise. Oh, let's see. Stuck down this. Well, the cam bolt's not backed out. Nothing looks crazy in the water pump. Wait, isn't there supposed to... What's supposed to be bolted up there? It looks like something's supposed to be bolted up there. I don't know. All right, we'll keep digging and see. So we pulled all the rockers and push rods off. Now I'm spinning the cam around to get all the lifters up out of the way. I left one cam bolt in. I have the cam lock plate taken off. Let's see if there's any surprises with this cam. See if we get a bad lifter or something. I've never pulled one of these cams out like this, but I'll see what I gotta do. That cam sprocket was hitting the oil pump. I'm gonna set it up out of the way. See if we can get this thing out here this way now. Try to not beat all the bearings out of this motor. See what this hog leg cam is. She might be a 15 lober instead of 16. Okay. Well, once again, I don't see anything obvious. I don't know, we'll keep digging. Cam don't look bad to me. So we didn't find nothing by pulling the cam. So apparently it's got to be something internal in this motor. So I'm gonna pull the intake and the cylinder heads off and look at the tops of the pistons. And if I don't find something magic there, which if I found something on the top of the piston, I'm gonna pull the motor anyway. We're gonna go ahead and pull the heads and just look at the tops of the pistons, look at the head gaskets, and see what we find there. Spilling gas everywhere. See if there's anything in those intake cords or whatever. See anything down there? It's running fine, except for that noise. So we had compression, so it shouldn't be. They've not been ported or anything. They're 243 heads. Well, nothing else to see here. All right, so we got the cylinder head ready to come off of here. So let's see what we can find. Oh, here's something. I don't see anything on the head so far that seems crazy. So let's look at the pistons and the head gasket. I don't notice anything right off wrong with that head gasket. Don't see any holes to the pistons. What the heck is wrong with this thing? Is that a mark? Flat top pistons. I don't know if these came with flat tops. I don't know enough about these motors. Well, I'm not seeing anything there that scares me. It kind of looks dark in between those two cylinders. Could have been blowing back and forth there. I want to pull these lifters out and see what they look like next. But man, I just can't find nothing wrong with this motor yet. Must be in the bottom end, like the bearings or something. All right, we got the other head loose. I think we got everything loose at least. We didn't put the drain pan under it, of course. Anything look bad there? No. Not that I'm noticing. Look at the block there. Let me see. This head gasket. That's just oil on it. Well, I don't see anything wrong with that head gasket. Oh, I'm gonna be mad if I tear this thing all the way down and can't find nothing wrong with it. I don't feel any big ridges on the cylinder walls. Pistons. I don't see no holes in any pistons, which it had a decent compression, but we did drop one lifter down in the stupid motor. The trays didn't hold it, and we had that one back there fall down in the motor, so it's gonna have to come apart anyway. But apparently it's something in the bottom end for sure, because we're not finding anything on the top end of this motor. Oh well, that stinks. Got the engine ready to pull out, I think. I ended up deciding I'm probably gonna just pull the transmission with it. Unhook the shifter, unhooked all the electrical plug-ins that are on it, unbolted the cross member. So I believe it's ready to pull out of there. Got Tyler and Mason helping me. Got the engine hoist out of the barn, so we're gonna start hook a chain on this thing and start pulling it out of there. That's the engine hoist sitting real good. All right, we got the motor and transmission out. We're gonna take the transmission off the engine, and then we're gonna flip the motor over and take the pan off. Let's see what's up with it. We got the transmission off there, and somebody's bolted the knock sensors to the oil pan rail. They're supposed to be bolted here, and they bolted both sides the knock sensors on the oil pan rail. I don't know if there's a reason for that I don't know about, but anyway, we're about to pull the starter off of it, drain the oil, see what magic is in that oil pan. See what's in there, if there's anything. Any glitter in that? I see some coloration there. Yeah, look at that. See that? Different colors. Look at the glitter on my fingers. It's got some bearing material in it. Something's rubbing something in there. Last bolt. We know 2 lifters fell down in here. Huh. Well, the lifter's not only made it to the bottom. None of this stuff looks like it's been hit by anything. I don't see any chunks. This thing is weird. Okay. Well. Alright. Oh, there's a lifter.
There should be another one, right?
One more somewhere in there, motor. Okay, let's take the bolts off this windage tray and see. I don't see any damage to the windage tray. Look at the metal in the pickup though. Little metal flakes. Alright, see what's under the windage tray. It's Gen 4 rods. Nothing seems to have come in contact with the tray. This thing's a mystery. We're about to solve the mystery though. Which one are you? It's loose. What's that? Ah. That rod right there is definitely. That one's loose. So, this rod and this rod right next to each other. I bet somebody has left something loose. That's my guess. We'll spin this crank around and look at it. The color's different on that rod. Like it's got hot. I'll drop the whole thing. Well, it does have bearings. That's a plus. Yeah, the crank's gonna have to be turned and everything. It's spun rod bearings. Look at that. Look how it's mushroomed that out. Yep. So it spun this rod bearing. It could have spun that main. And it spun this one too. Don't see any damage to it, to the piston, I mean. Yes, Gen 4, it's got floating pins. Huh. The motor's killed itself. So, for sure, same things went on here.
Rossman's in the pool by itself.
Yeah, it's doing the same thing. It's mushroomed it out in the middle. Is standard? Does it say anything on it? Yeah, STD. They're standard rod bearings. So the crank's never been turned. Don't see any damage to the piston again. See if it got this main. Oh shoot, that came off fast. Looks hot. Come on, get out there. It ate a lot of bearing material because it's showing the brass. I don't necessarily think it spun it because it's still in position, but it's just ate a bunch of material. I'd say most of the other bearings in the motor probably are showing brass too. So it'll need the crank turn, it'll need probably 2 rods and a set of bearings. And it'll be like brand new maybe. So we got the whole thing torn down. I didn't see any reason to film all that, but we got the other 6 pistons and rods out of it. None of the rest of them had spun or anything, so we're gonna have to put new main bearings, new rod bearings. I'm gonna replace 2 rods probably. And then I'm gonna probably replace the crank because it looks like it's gonna be cheaper to replace the crank. Looks like I'm probably gonna buy a 5.3 liter short block, take the crank and rods out of it and use it, and then that way I'll have a bunch of spare parts. Anybody that knows what bolt's right there, let me know, because I don't know what bolt's there. There wasn't nothing bolted there, and now I'm worried. So if you know what bolt's there, let me know in the comments. But that's gonna be the end of this video. We're gonna get some parts and start putting this motor back together in the next video.